Welcome back to my haunted library. I'm doing something a little different today, taking a field trip around some of my favorite local haunts in my community as part of a book tag created by Dane, one of the authors for Local Haunts, a HorrorTube anthology, and you can find information about that below and about the tag if you would like to do it. So come along with me as I travel around Bucks County, Pennsylvania to check out some of my favorite local haunts. So the first question in the tag is, local haunts, tell a spooky tale about a place that is close to you. So this is Burlington Island in the background and the Delaware River. And this is a place where apparently one may see the ghost of Joseph Bonaparte. That was Napoleon's brother who lived here for a short time. And he was in love with a woman named Sarah Keene who lived in a beautiful mansion, which is now the place where our public library stands. And apparently he was so in love with her that he used to, and she was not interested in him for whatever reason. I think she was married to someone else actually, or betrothed to someone else. But apparently he used to sail by in his boat with his lantern, just kind of stalking her along the river. So sometimes people have said, now I've never seen this ghost, but I'm always open to that experience, that you can see Joseph in his canoe sailing by when the river's very misty with his lantern, pining for his lost love. So I'm at the next stop. This is in Tullytown, Pennsylvania, a few miles from Bristol. And the reason I'm doing this tag in the car, although I'm going to sneak out and do a guerrilla shot real quick, is because this is private property and these people are pretty serious about their private property. I once made the mistake of crashing the gate totally by accident, and it was like something out of the China syndrome. So just saying, I'm going to do this tag in the car, and then I'm going to sneak a shot real quick. So tag question number 2, a stone's throw. And these are all based on stories from local haunts. Tell us about a story with a young female character who has a tough life. The story that I chose is Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. The character of Kathy certainly had a tough life. So the ghost story connected with this local haunt is about 80 years ago. A young woman was out with her prom date and the car crashed in Tullytown Lake here. And he, I think, swam to shore, but Mary was never found. Thus, the legend of Midnight Mary was born. And some people have reported seeing Midnight Mary walking along this road late at night in a dripping wet prom dress. Question 3. Crowthorne. Tell us about a story with a harmful friendship. For this one, I'm choosing a novel that really got under my skin, and that's Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, about a very disturbing friendship between two girls that goes from their childhood to their adulthood, and it really gets into the paper cut, if you will, of a frightening friendship. So I'm leaving Yardley. I stopped at the Continental Tavern, had a little bit of lunch. So here's the next one. Number 4, Screen 8. Tell us about a movie that scares you and is based on a true story. Well, for this one, I'm choosing Dead Ringers, a movie that came out in 1998, directed by David Cronenberg, starring Jeremy Irons and Geneviève Bujold. It's a really great movie, very scary. It was so scary the first time I saw it in the movie theater that I was like, I could barely stay in my seat. That's how creepy it was. It's not exactly a horror movie, except it is, because it's David Cronenberg. It's genius. If you don't mind body horror, if you don't mind a little psychosexual weirdness, check out Dead Ringers. So now I'm going to continue driving up county toward my family home, which is the setting for my story in Local Haunts, which is a fictional story based on a true crime. So we are on number 5, The Mount of Death, Beer Me. Tell us about a story where a drink plays a role in the plot. So the one I thought of right away was The Shining. by Stephen King. I've read that in recent years, reread it, and it is really a great look at an alcoholic character. Driving up here, up that hill, is also a haunted spot that is on this place, which is Buckingham Mountain. And that place that, as I was driving up the hill, is called, well, some people call it Gravity Hill. That is a famous haunted place. You can Google it if you want. If you put your car in neutral, your car gets pulled up the hill. These woods behind us is part of my family's property, and it was my playground growing up. Spent a lot of time in there playing with my siblings and my cousins and the neighbors' kids who had to travel like a mile to get here, and rode my pony back there on the trails. So in a lot of ways, it was a beautiful, beautiful place to grow up. So the next question on the tag is the Blocked Cellar, which is kind of appropriate because that church has a cellar that we used to play in when we were kids. That was kind of scary. Tell us about your favorite horror, paranormal, or true crime YouTube channel. Well, I do watch a lot of true crime on YouTube, and one of my favorite of all time is True Crime Loser. He did a really amazing job covering the Chris Watts case, and yeah, I tune into True Crime Loser when I want a little bit of true crime, but without the depressing part of it, because he is so funny. So I'm going to walk around here a little bit and then move on to the next location.
Number 7, The Night Watchman. Tell us a story that's set partly at night. For this one, I chose The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. Because it is a vampire story, most of the scenes take place at night.
This place is a recognized haunted spot. This was a place where, in the Victorian era, a very sadistic school teacher lived in it, taught in a one-room schoolhouse, and he was so brutal that one day the parents revolted and burned the schoolhouse down around his head. He was seen leaving through a window and screaming as his the tails of his jacket caught on fire. He ran into the woods screaming and was never seen again, except as a ghost. So that is probably a good choice for this place, although it's not exactly the wilderness. It does have a feeling of wildness to it. So I'm going to choose a book called, and some of you guys may have read this one, it's not horror, but it is definitely horrific, and that is Into Thin Air, a personal account of the Mount Everest disaster by John Krakauer. He wrote an article for Outside Magazine that you can still find online if you don't want to read the whole book. I've read both a couple times, and there is a movie version that's nothing like the story in the book. There's a lot of controversy about Krakauer's rendition of the events that killed, gosh, I don't know how many people. There was a terrible storm and people got stuck on Mount Everest and mistakes were made, and he witnessed the whole thing. And like I said, there are some different controversies about his account, but still in all, it's a fascinating read, and he's a very good writer. This place has energy. Every time I come here, I feel it. In a lot of ways, I am a skeptic, but that's only because I've had experiences with the paranormal. And there are a lot of places where people say, oh, this is haunted, and maybe somebody does feel it. But I won't say that unless I do feel it, and I do feel it here. And it's a little bit like a tingling sensation, back of my neck. It's not exactly a good feeling. All right, I'm going to leave now.
Number 9, Highway to Hell. Tell us about a story that involves music. For this one, I am choosing Christine by Stephen King, a book that comes with its own rock and roll soundtrack. So here I am back in Bristol, taking a little break at the King George II Inn, one of the oldest inns in the United States that is supposedly haunted.
So Andrew, have you ever seen a ghost here? It's supposed to be haunted.
I have not seen a ghost. I think that somebody might be drinking our liquor when we're not here.
Oh.
Well, we are finally at the end of our journey here, guys. Thanks so much for coming along with me today. And this is one of my favorite local haunts. Now, I don't know if it's haunted, but it certainly should be. Just take a look at it. And we are at the end of the line, which means we are at number 10 at the end of the rope. And the last question is, tag some BookTube and HorrorTube friends. I know in Dane's video, he tagged everyone involved with local haunts. So hopefully they will also do a video, because I think this is a great idea. So I would like to tag a couple people, and I don't know if they'll even watch this video, but it would be fun to see them do this. And that is John from Books of Blood, Alex from Hey Little Thrifter, and Ed Lorn from Ed Lorn. So that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for traveling with me. It was a bit of a sentimental journey for myself, but I'm really glad I did it, and what a stunning day. This is what I love about October. So until next time, I will see you soon in my haunted library. Bye.